Now, this is a photograph of 2005. 2006 photograph shows that transit accommodation is constructed. 2007 photograph is showing, 2007 photograph is showing that, you see, about 3 buildings are already demolished at the site. People, occupants are shifted to the transit accommodation. 3 buildings are demolished and a vacant land is created for construction of a new building. That is proposed rehab building. In the year 2009, the photograph is showing that the rehab building is under construction. 2010 photograph shows that in 2010 the rehab building is totally completed and the people are shifted over there. But shifting the people over there, they have also started a construction of this cell building which is on the opposite the rehab building. Now this is how the phases which I have explained earlier or pointed out over there can be executed. Most of the places, of course, such type of transit accommodation next door is not available, where the people are required to locate the live and license flats, shift themselves on that, and then of course the issue of lease rent, which is to be collected from the developer, and ensuring the flow of that lease rent, etc., that our legal professionals help you in drafting those agreements and development. Now I come back to come next to the details involving explaining the development process from a developer as per the January 3rd, 2009 regulations. Society is required to convene a meeting, special general body meeting, convening all members that this meeting is for the specific purpose of considering the development process. Now, this special general body meeting, they must explain the members what is the process being followed, what they intend to do, and receive a written suggestion from the members to that effect. On receipt of those suggestions, either society can take decision in that meeting or may take another meeting to take a decision. Decisions are required to be taken in general body meeting. The minutes of such decision, all those proceedings are required to be circulated to all members within stipulated time. Now, in those meetings, they need to appoint an architect or a project management consultant, either individual role or the role being played, both the roles being played by those people. Now, architects, what are the role and the expectation for the architects? They survey the society building and the land. Survey is essential because society may be having the old record and not what is existing on the site need to be exactly what is recorded earlier in the drawings, documents, and even the living records. Physical condition changes. Because ultimately when you go for the redevelopment, the permissible development depends upon the existing site situation as it exists. Next is obtain the information about the title. Now collecting the information about the title, generally going through that can be done by the architect. Ultimately going through the detail of the title is required to be done by in consultation with the society legal professionals, because title is required to be bankable. Unless the title is bankable, a developer won't be able to come in and invest the money, because ultimately they are required to sell the flats which are sellable in the open market. Now study prevailing policy of the next stage of the architect comes out, study prevailing policy and try to check it up what maximum potential, the construction development potential is available for the property. Now this permissible construction potential depends upon the location, situation, nature of the land and the tenure of the land. The location, if they are situated into city, suburb, in CRZ area, land if it is a part of MHADA development, SRA, slum redevelopment, municipal corporation, any other government body, lease land, freehold land, they are very important aspects over there. Then architect is required to consider what are the suggestions given by the members as regards the permissible development, what they aspire to have it back from the developer, from the development. Prepare a realistic feasibility report. This is very, very important part of the architectural and PMC services. The feasibility report is required to be realistic. You see, the society and the occupants would like to have maximum. A development may walking is a businessman would like to give it list, whatever is a reasonable list. Now, when an architect and a project management consultant is suggested, he need to suggest what is realistic by considering all aspects of real estate development in a market, considering fluctuations of the real estate scenario, what is exists today, what is visualizing tomorrow, etc., etc. Then, after the feasibility report is accepted and society approves it, what an architect is required to do is, in consultation with the legal advisor of the society, and the society will prepare a draft of the tender. Now, such draft need to specify very clearly about what are the expectations of the society as regard the tenement areas, as regard the corpus fund, as explained by Anand Bhai. The corpus fund become necessary because then only it becomes necessary for the people who are staying for the years together are habituated to pay certain type of outgoing. New developments, the outgoing shoots up because municipal taxes, maintenance cost of all new amenities. It is good to see a good lift, parking lot, other conveniences, club, fine. But all those things are ultimately required to be maintained. Now, maintenance requires the cost. Now, how do we get and generate those costs? That is very important. So that is the reason why this is very, very important on that. Then society invites the tender. After the tenders are received, then society, the PMC architect helps society to assess the bid. He advises and he is a part and parcel of the process of the selection decisions in consultation with the legal people. Of course, because if there are any terms, conditions, ability, capability, past experience of the developer, everything gets counted into that. Then selection of a development agreement to be signed with the developer. Here it is important to note that it's not only architect and architecture. Architect is required to work in a team. Now, which are the team members which he needs to perform these duties? One, of course, is the architect and project consultancy services inputs, which will come down with all that feasibility report, bid documents, negotiations, award of work, and monitoring the construction during the time of the process. He is also required to monitor with his team the quality of the construction being done by the developer or the society, because that also is very important part. Then the legal advisors of the society, surveyors, as I explained, what we are required to do is the physical survey of the land and the building. Then the architectural inputs are there required for the preparing building plans, obtaining approval, and coordinate and execution drawings at a site. Structural engineers for the design stability of the building, earthquake resistance, etc. Licensed plumbers designing all those drainage, water supply facilities. Most of the buildings are going to be high-rise. When they are high-rise, it requires a peculiar specialized designs, because additional FSI only scope of consuming that additional FSI, which is almost in every case is going more than 2. Whenever it is an X land area, it is goes twice the land area. After leaving the necessary open spaces, higher building open spaces are more because of far better requirement, etc. So all those require the specific engineering requirements. Then similarly geological surveys for the stability of the building, electrical consultants, firefighting, HVAC. HVAC is also not, this is not a comfort air conditioning. Where there are higher specialized building for the sale comfort is fine. As regards normally rehab tenements, comfort AC is not expected, but however which become necessary is whenever the parking areas are required to be given in the form of basement or podium, or many a times the high-rise building the staircases are internal staircases which are required to be pressurized. So the HVAC quantity surveyors for preparing the estimates. Now I'll come back to the additional FSI. People have started asking the question of the additional FSI. I'll quickly brief it about the additional FSI issue. You see, additional FSI is available Development Control Regulation 1991 as modified from time to time as per the experience, public demand and the acceptability of the government. Development Control Regulation 1991 are updated, modified from time to time. I am just explaining you the gist of the individual thing as per the prevailing situation today. DCR 33.5 is for the low-cost housing schemes on by Bhada, and which is last revised on May 4, 2013. Total permissible FSI is 3.0, but at 3.0 is not straight. There is a rider about the premium to be paid, which is in relation to the land rate and the construction rate in that locality. So it is required to be calculated location-wise for the different Mara layouts. The DCR 33.7, this is for the island city for cess buildings. And at the same time, these provisions are also made applicable to the lands owned, old properties and lands owned by the municipal corporation and police. Now, there are buildings where the private tenants are staying. Tenanted properties are held by municipal corporation. Now, redevelopment of those tenanted properties, corporation also has a policy to permit when if the occupants are coming together, forming their body, registering their body, then there are permissions which are being given by the corporation for such redevelopment. Urban renewal scheme is permissible under section 33(9). This urban renewal scheme initially was designed for the MHADA and municipal corporation, was to be executed by MHADA and municipal corporations. Now, corporation has extended that and is also permitting for the cluster development. What is cluster development? Cluster development is in old city like Girgaon, Bhuleshwar, Baikala, where the plots are, they are old developments, plots are small, roads are small. So even if the individual, normally as per regulation, individual properties are permitted to be developed, it becomes very difficult to consume the FSI 3, etc. Vertical development, necessary open spaces, parking requirements, accessibility, narrow road. So our government has stated to overcome all the shortfalls and permit a much better planning. If you club together adjoining about 4,000 meter plot, that means at least 1 acre, then they have incentivized and permitted the additional FSI up to 4.0. DCR 33.24 is permitted for providing public parking. Now public parking also, that is within they have made two parts over there. The public parking, it is provided within 500 meter around railway stations, ST depots or municipal or government offices, etc. Then they are permitting FSI 4.0 within the city and 3.0 within the suburb. If it is beyond 500, then it is little lesser, but that again is in the ratio of public parking space, how much you are handing over, in relation to that, either 0.5 or 0.4, you get the FSI permissible for the cell. Now, much of these things are debated from time to time also. Sometimes it is called as a developer oriented, is that ultimately these are the prevailing instruments of the permitting redevelopment within the Mumbai. Now DCR 32 is provided for permitting additional 33% FSI. That additional 33% this is enacted in October 2011. This is replacing partially 1/3 of the permissible TDR in suburb. And same way, DCR 34, which is permitting 80% reservation TDR and 20% slum TDR, or 100% slum TDR, even included in a restricted area, that is corridors, etc. Corridors means otherwise TDR was not permissible to be utilized on either side of the railway tracks. Now I am also asked to speak about specific DCR 35(4), the regulation which is enacted by the government in January 2012. What is known as a fungible area. Now, if earlier what was happening is different FSI criteria were permitted, and 10% area was permitted as a balcony. That 10% balcony area was free of FSI, for which no separate payment was required to be made to the government or municipal corporation. At the same time, during last decade or so, we must be seeing that there are about 4 feet all around projections which are being permitted by the municipal corporation under the name of Flower Bay. What was the utility is something different, but that was being permitted and that was sold and purchased in the open market at full rate or whatever the maximum rate available. Now, this amendment is withdrawing that free of cost FS 10% balcony, but permitting 35% additional FSI, as normally what is permitted as a zonal FSI at cost. That cost is normally for residential rate 60% of ready reckoner for residential or 80% for industrial and commercial. Normally our housing society redevelopment is basically for residential only. Now here, for the redevelopment scheme under 33.5, 33.7, 33.9 and 33.10, there is no premium required to be paid for the rehab portion. Similarly, this 33% additional is also permitted on original FSI plus the TDR which we purchased from the open market. At the same time, that no additional premium required to be paid for rehab is for the equivalent built-up area of the existing tenements, not equivalent. Whatever is the sellable portion, one is required to pay the premium. At the same time, the provision makes it that from the rehab portion, if there is a fungible, you cannot use it for the sellable portion. Rehab fungible, either you have to use it for the rehab portion only, or otherwise you are required to let it go. Now, what I am showing you is on the left side, 2 schemes are there, which were developed for the MMRDA for providing the project affected people tenements from which the TDR was generated. On the right side, the scheme is one of the small society plot at Parla, about 700 square meter, which is redeveloped under redevelopment by purchasing the TDR from the open market. Now, before I say thank you for listening, this is another photograph of development at Sivri. This is the land which is what was the tenanted property of municipal corporation. About 230 tenants were there. They are all rehabilitated in this high-rise building. Now I say thank you for listening patiently. Thank you.